Aloha, welcome back. This is Betsy and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk with you a little bit about designing the life that you dream of. Sounds pretty good. So I believe that we are co-creators in our lives, that we have a role in what we come to view as our reality, the events and the things that come to pass. I do believe that we are always, with our guides as well, helping to design our lives. So let's talk about designing a life that you fall in love with living. So as I said, I do believe that we co-create the life that we live. What we see is our reality, the things that are happening to us, the things that are going on around us, what we see and how it feels. I believe it's our thoughts that play a big role in this, that our thoughts, the things that we focus our time and attention on, they become what we see in our reality all around us. And I'd like to ask what you think of that. You may agree, you may have similar beliefs, or you may disagree completely. And I understand it. I didn't always believe this as well. So what I would like to ask you is I'm going to pose a couple of questions to you about how frequently you notice synchronicities in your life and how often do you see signs on a regular basis. Synchronicities, you think of someone that you haven't spoken to for a while and you're feeling their presence or thinking of them strongly, and then a few minutes later the phone rings and there they are. Or you're pressed for time running to an appointment, and just as you pull up to your destination, a car is leaving the parking space right in front and you pull right in. There you go. I don't believe those things are accidents. I don't really believe those things are coincidences. I think this is the design of our lives, that the things that we really, really need are the things that show up. Signs are also those things that can be signs from our loved ones or from the universe that's supporting us and with us. And those signs could be items that you find that remind you of a loved one, or a song on the radio that strikes your heart and meets you exactly where you are emotionally at that moment. Movies or books do the same things. These things tend to occur over and over and over in our daily lives. Do you think these are accidents? Do you think it's just a coincidence? I ask you to consider that these things are part of your design for your life. So, if you're still on board, let's talk a little bit about how we can design our lives purposefully. And I believe that is through setting intentions. Call them goals, but I do believe that we can purposefully sit down and call in the things to our lives that we would like to see. Because our thoughts create things. Upset thoughts create upheaval. We've all had those days where perhaps we're not bouncing out of bed feeling our best, and things start going wrong, and as the day progresses we just can't seem to gain any traction. It's just one thing after another, and as we struggle, our thoughts go down the drain with these things, and then it's just one thing after another. But the flip side of that is that trust that you're always progressing for your purpose, for your life lessons, your highest good. You're always progressing towards your highest good. That trust and the release there of needing to do something, of trying to take action against something, that trust that everything's going to work out in your best interest in the long run, that is the gateway towards peace. It allows you to feel hands off of a situation to just trust and know that you'll be guided to the next appropriate step, to just wait, not overreact. So purposeful intention setting goals, this also helps you figure out what you want. We've all had times in our life where we were confused, things weren't really going our way, but we didn't really know where we were going anyway. People ask us, well, if you're not happy, what do you want? How can I help you? What do you want? What are you looking for? And we struggle to define it. Not all of us were taught to regularly sit down and figure out what we truly want. Many of us go through our lives trying to put out the little brush fires or dumpster fires that happen day to day, especially if we grew up in a chaotic household. We're always trying to rush to a situation to react. And oftentimes we've not been coached on how to decide what we really want. So that's where this intention setting is really powerful. It helps us to live in a space of knowing what we want for ourselves from a day-to-day, short-term, and long-term. It helps us see the bigger picture and define our path a little bit more. Whether we end up following something that looks exactly like it or not, our intention for the end goal and feeling that feeling of having achieved that goal is what keeps us going in that line towards that outcome. And luckily, we have a built-in way of figuring out the appropriate time to do these intention setting ceremonies on the new moon. Every month we have a new moon, sometimes more than one, and it's my belief, because I like the stars and I like the heavens and I like to think about them all being on our side and wanting us to be happy and achieve the things that we dream of. I believe that the planets and stars are helping guide us there too, to a certain degree. So the new moon, as it grows, as it waxes, it will help bring those things that we are calling to ourselves. It will help bring them to us. On the other side, on the full moon, that's the time to release things that aren't really serving us. And as the moon wanes, it takes those things away with it. But today we're going to be working on the intention setting. So what would a ceremony look like? To take the time to figure out what it is you want. Short term, medium term, long term, doesn't matter. But what is on your radar today, this minute, for what you truly want? To take that thought and distill it down to a very brief statement, perhaps one sentence or a few words if you can, and be very specific in using positive language. You don't want the universe to hear, I need money, because it'll reinforce that. You're right, you need money, and you may not see enough money coming your way. The flip side is, I have money, and the universe will say, yes, you do, you have money. So set that intention in a very positive, worded statement, very brief. And then release the how of that. How is that going to happen? How is it going to take place? What is that journey going to look like? We don't need to know that. What we need to do is to do our grounding and centering, say our clearing prayer, and feel in our heart space and our gut how amazing we feel, as if that desire has already been fulfilled, that we're living in it, it's come to us, we know it, we own it, and we feel marvelous there. Spend a moment there and really connect with that feeling, and that feeling helps project you towards that direction, as well as the answer to your request, which already exists. It sparks that answer now. Oh, wait, there we are. They're ready for me. And that answer wants to meet you. trust the process. And what have you got to lose, really? Play with it. Have some fun with it. If it sounds too far-fetched, I would encourage you, even if you're just the tiniest bit curious, to try something relatively risk-free. It could be frivolous or silly if if that's what works for you. But just to try something and see what happens. It works. It's worked for me for a long time. How do I know this? Because I like to take these little bits of paper and fold them up tiny and stash them away someplace, and then I tend to forget about them. So a year or so down the road, I will find my little stash and I will set out to pull them all out and look and see what's in there. And most of the time, almost all of the time, it's not even some of the time, it's pretty much nearly all of the time, all those desires have come to pass. And I may be even farther down the road than I expected to be. And that brings me great joy. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to just to play with it and not be caught up in the fear of what could happen, but the possibilities of what may happen. I think we ourselves as humans really can't dream big enough for what the universe has in mind for us, that our possibilities are limitless. So let's play with calling it to us. If you resonated with any of this, like, share, drop a comment below, shoot me a question on my website or my Facebook or even here below in the YouTube, and I'll do my best to answer it. And with that, I bid you farewell and a hui ho.